on 1080 AM. Our tower is not working on 1080 AM. Or are you giving me a thumbs up? What is your thumbs up for over there, Will?
I was just saying hi.
Oh, okay. Will Ortner is here.
There's stuff going on in here, so I didn't want to turn the mic on.
So here's the thing that happened. Yeah, Swag's over there. Swag's still here. Hi, Swag. He's just been sleeping underneath the desk in there.
He's been hanging out with the Kim Jong-un pillow.
He's like, damn, times are tough. It's hard out here. But Swag is trying to fix stuff that Will obviously broke. And we'll put this on you. Just add it to your lawsuit. Your pending litigation.
Yeah, that's right. Blame it on me, and Jimmy Kimmel and I, we're going to talk with our lawyers. Well, wait, hold on. Yeah. Our power went out during prime time. Yeah. There is a known big-footed individual.
No. Let's look at this here. Power went out and this is what is going on. So we are on 99.5 HD2. Thank you for all that listening on the HD signal, because that is actually a digital signal going out through HD. It is not through our traditional towers like we have for our AM signal. So our AM signal is down because power is out where our transmitter is. And then the hamsters that run the generator, they got tired. And maybe somebody forgot to feed them. And so the hamster stopped running. And so generator went down. Thus, station goes down. Not good, Bob. Not good. Compounding the fact, engineering cannot get to said generator.
It's very icy. It's dangerous.
Also, not good, Bob. So, this is where we stand right now. We are on 99.5 HD2. We are on 1080thefan.com, the Odyssey app, where most people will take in via their device. Twitch.com/1080am, the fan. YouTube.com/1080am, the fan. We are still doing this show, but it is just not on the normal signal. So I think that now we can unpack how we truly got to this place, which is how convenient that the station is running totally smoothly and normally until you get off of the show and you have time to go out and start messing with the transmitter site.
Again, so now you're blaming me. I don't even... What was the question I asked when we walked in here today? What's a transmitter?
Yeah, actually, that is it.
I have no idea.
You did ask that question.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
How to plug in the Wi-Fi so that we could have a stream.
Yeah.
So there's no possible way that I would do this. Yeah. However, there is another large, bald individual who has complained numerous times this week about coming in, who's been known with his big feet to knock the station off the air.
It has happened.
It goes out during his show. Seems convenient.
Very convenient.
Seems convenient.
All right, you've convinced me. I'm sure I'll point the finger at someone else. Let's go.
Blame that man. Well, I did not say a name. I just
okay.
I'm just throwing out questions.
Yeah. I'm
asking questions.
Look at this. This is the savvy move. As the YouTube chat is here. The Vancouver Ford text line is here as well. 503-864-6326. Your dollar goes further at Vancouver Ford. They treat you right before, during, and after the sale. Visit them online, vancouverford.com. As Jack points out on the YouTube stream, Swag looks like he's seen some ass the past few days. Like he's in here. He's got his park on. He's got the hat on. He's just like bent over. He's got 2 points of contact on the table. He's like, I've seen some stuff. And look, this is not just the past few days. Swag's seen some ass the past 2 decades he's been working here. I think that is where that's where we're at here, is that this isn't anything new. It's just, this is a new fire for Swag to put out. We'll call him the fireman. He's just putting out fires all over town.
He's definitely doing that right now. He's prepping for the Pilots game. Tune in 9:10 ESPN.
The Pilots,
4 o'clock.
Pilots will play
Saturday.
Saturday
at Santa Clara. Oh, that's right. You got to fly out.
Yeah, I'm headed to the airport.
All right, so he's going to the airport. I was like, he's in here prepping for a Saturday game. That seems a little aggressive, but he's got to do what he's got to do. Paper's not free, I guess. So he's getting those.
Need to have stuff to make the pretty play-by-play chart.
Oh, yeah.
To have the cut and paste thing.
Yeah, I got Swag. If you don't know Swag, you need to take a photo of your play-by-play charts and send it out to the people, because Swag's got a beautiful play-by-play chart. You sent it to me what you use for the pilots when I did Les Schwab Invitational last year. Nice, easy. The man is very well prepared. He is very well prepared. So Swag is here. We're just gonna party, We're just gonna party. It's a football Friday. I don't know. I know that on the internet you can just you can't say whatever you want, but you could swear on the internet. But we're not on the internet. We never know when the power's gonna come back on.
I was gonna say we are on the internet. But
we're not on the normal radio. We're just on the internet right now. And 99.5 HD2.
Also,
so we're in cars. Can't do that. It's a family show.
Forgot to build the dump, so don't cuss for the next, 4 minutes.
Goodness gracious.
I'll build the dump for the next one. I forgot.
Gosh. What are we doing?
A lot of stuff going on right now, dude. A lot of stuff.
Look, you got Swag the fireman, and then you got Joey the sailor in there. Swearing's going to happen, so you better just cut your mic for a while there, buddy.
I was going to say, we might have the two MVPs right now.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we actually do.
Joey, he's making everything work right now. Everything that works is because of Joey. Everything that doesn't work
is because of
a large-footed individual that may or may not be bald. That has been on the air here for a long time.
Oh, okay. I was like, that last little qualifier you put in there.
You don't know how big my feet are.
That I don't. I would assume they're quite large. I mean, you're 6'5". Maybe. I would assume that.
You don't know. You've never measured my feet.
You're right. I have.
You don't work at Foot Locker.
I used to work at the Finish Line, though. I can eyeball a foot size. I can sit there and I can look at your feet and be like, yeah, that's a 12.5.
Maybe I just buy clown shoes. You don't know.
Yeah, actually, but that would lead to you knocking the damn station off the air again. Ortner.
I have never taken the station off air with my feet.
With my feet, he adds. All right. Well, we'll press on this Football Friday. I don't have any cool stories from the snow or the ice. This one just seems to be it got us again. We got yet again freezing temperatures overnight. This sucks. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of being cold, and I've been cold way, 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 way too much lately. I've been cold a lot lately,
I'm learning what it's like to be cold.
You're learning what it's like?
When you're 320 pounds and you're a large
fat guy.
Yeah, and you're a large hairy individual.
Yeah.
You don't get cold. I come built in with a shirt.
Yeah, that's got to be nice-ish, right? Having that little bit of insulation. So now
I have my moments where it's nice. I have some moments at the pool, not so nice.
Sure. Well, shirt on at the pool, not great.
No, you can't go shirt on. But when you already come built with the shirt on,
yeah,
it looks like you already got the mink coat on. That's not a good look either.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, let's party on, people. We're here. We're having a good time. Let's do it. Again, spread the word. Your guys' favorite radio shows are going to be not on 1080 AM for the time being until either PGE fixes the power out where and they're working their butts off, man. Again, we may not have power there. There are so many power outages going on right now, and this is ice. There's nothing you can do. And I will say this: I think we need to have the discussion: is Mother Nature just trying to take out everything Portland sports?
Mother Nature is dominating us.
Yeah. DeAndre Ayton can't even make it to the damn Blazer game.
Dominated him.
1080 The Fan supports DeAndre Ayton. Mother Nature goes, nay. Nay. We're out here sitting here going, anybody that's criticizing DeAndre Ayton for not going to the game, take a hike. This storm is no joke. So what does Mother Nature do? Says, screw you guys.
I'm attacking you again.
Off the air. Off the air.
Hey, we did not
have fun on the internet.
We did not attack DeAndre Ayton.
No, we attacked Mother Nature, though.
We attacked the helicopter for not flying to go get him.
Yeah, it's true. Send the chopper.
Get to the chopper.
Actually, that was just you.
It would have worked.
No.
How do you defeat ice?
No.
You don't go on the ground.
of all the franchises in any sport, okay, you want the Portland Trailblazers to put a center who is 7 feet tall and have him grab onto a ladder and helicopter him out?
If Arnold Schwarzenegger can do it, why can't DeAndre Ayton?
This would have ended in some sort of random injury that would have lived in infamy forever.
No, he would have been fine.
We lost Greg Oden to Dance Dance Revolution. Remember that? That was a rumor out there.
That was the best thing. I remember waking up, getting ready to go to my Mr. Smith's 5th grade class, and Colin Cowherd was my, like, I had the old-timey clock, so when my alarm went off, I could set it to 1080 the fan, and Colin Cowherd would wake me up, and I woke up to Colin.
You can do that in your Odyssey app, by the way.
Yeah,
you can wake up to the fan.
I did not know that. I can do that.
You
now.
can do that.
Colin Cowherd ripping on Greg Oden for playing Dance Dance Revolution. Yeah, it's one of my most distinct Cowherd memories.
We had didn't Joel Prisbilla injured himself in the shower too? He slipped in the shower. You know,
the gorilla,
the vanilla gorilla, Joel Prisbilla. Yeah. One of my first jobs here at the Fan was covering Joel Prisbilla's re-signing. And they did the announcement on the waterfront, and they had jet boat rides for the media afterwards. I was like,
so why can't they afford a helicopter?
On the Willamette River, it's like, hey, hop in the jet boat, and you could take a jet boat ride and celebrate Joel Prisbilla's re-signing. And Mike Rice showed up in, like, he rode his bike. And Mike Rice riding his bike, he takes his biking very seriously, or at least he did. Mike Rice showed up in, like, spandex. He rode his bike. He was in his spandex, and he said hi to me, and I didn't even recognize him. Like, he was wearing, like, his Oakley blades. He had his helmet on, and I had no idea who he was because I was like, who's this random guy coming up and saying hi to me? And I was like, oh, that's Mike Rice. That's the wild one, Mike Rice. The guy gets ejected from games and rides his bike to Joel Prisbilla's signing announcement.
He's got to be the only announcer to ever get kicked out of a game.
I don't think he is. I think he was one of the first, though. But so you want, again, to recap here, we went into the weeds a little bit. You want the franchise, which every center has, like, gotten hurt, or
not everyone.
Okay, fine. Arvydas Sabonis was stuck in the Soviet Union for the prime of his career.
He was good when he came back.
Okay. Bill Walton had his feet issues where Jack Ramsey got so annoyed with him that he sent him to do broadcasting because he was annoying him on the bench. So you had Bill Walton with foot problems. You had Sam Bowie, who just got hurt. I mean, that was your more traditional. Or we don't know. Maybe he was playing Dance Dance Revolution. Or I guess in the times he would have been playing Twister.
He was playing Pong.
Maybe
he broke his leg.
Nah, maybe he was playing Twister. I don't know. You know?
He was playing the old Atari.
Yeah.
Space Invaders.
I'm just going through the list here of, Arvydas Sabonis was stuck in the Soviet Union. And then we had Joel Prisbilla slips in the shower. Dance Dance Revolution with Greg Oden, and you're saying, no, the Blazers should have choppered out their 7-footer.
Well, look, it's a moot point because you ended up winning.
Yeah.
But if they had lost, and they lost by like 5 points, DeAndre Ayton would have got you 5.
He got you 5.
He would have at least got you 5.
Yeah,
that dude doesn't go out and put up triple singles.
Would have stopped a shot at the rim too.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So,
but they didn't. Avoided disaster. The floater, the putback from Grant, the floater from Ant, 27 points from those two in the fourth quarter. They got the Blazers what they needed.
Well, see, and history will not remember this.
No.
But if they had lost, history would remember it forever.
Yeah.
Or they could have just called me. My Camry would have made it.
Camry would have made it. Yeah. No, the Blazers did do everything they could to get him out, but. You wanted the chopper. Get to the chopper. Do it now.
It would have worked.
It would have worked.
It was a foolproof plan.
Would have worked.
Nothing could have stopped it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I hope everybody's out there safe and having a good time.
Hey, kids got an extra week of vacation.
Yeah.
It's going to bite you in the butt in June, though.
Well, no, I was telling my wife, like, she teaches in Portland Public Schools. And
dude, are they even going to have a summer break?
I was like, you're going to be teaching on 4th of July. What are we doing here?
We're teaching in August.
Yeah. This is going to be, it's aggressive what's happening. And she's like, yeah, I'm probably going to cut into spring break. It's like, well, them's the breaks. Them's the breaks.
Kind of had spring break right now.
Yeah.
Had their version of it.
Well, they got that week back of winter vacation that they lost, but you're going to have to pay the piper some point.
Right.
There we go.
Always comes due.
All right. Okay, let's get this sports show on the road, shall we? NFL divisional round weekend. We've got Ryan Horvat, our BetQL Network insider. He's going to join us at 1:30. We'll go through all the bets that you want for divisional round weekend of the NFL playoffs. 4 great games. I'm really excited for these games. And we're going to break them down inside, outside, and everywhere in between. But I had this thought this morning, and as I was going through these games, rank the quarterbacks for me. I would love to. You can do it in the YouTube chat, the Twitch stream. Do you have access to that? By the way,
I do. It's
you got the Twitchers there.
Well, it's just multi-stream.
And the Vancouver Ford text line. You can rank these quarterbacks. You've got Jordan Love, C.J. Stroud, Brock Purdy, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Jared Goff, Baker Mayfield, Josh Allen. And I said Lamar, right? Yeah, I got
Juicy.
Lamar in there. Rank these quarterbacks because the first 3, pretty easy. After that, it's a lot harder than you think. Danny Dusty on the Fan.
It's the Fan on demand.
Twitch stream chat there, and you can participate in this show any way you want. We'll let you know when the AM signal's back up, but we're in 99.5 HD2 as well, and all your streaming accessibilities. But I had this question as I was doing my morning prep for the show, looking at this quarterback divisional round of the NFL playoffs, which gets underway tomorrow, 1:30 on ESPN. And by the way, our games they're gonna screw with your head a little bit, because I've just been programmed to 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. and 5 p.m., right? 10, 1, 5. Football brain. That's how NFL works. 10, 1, 5. We got 1:30 tomorrow, Texans, Ravens. 5:15, Packers, Niners. Sunday, noon. That's the one that's going to screw with me. A noon kick on NBC, Bucks at Lions.
Don't like
on
that.
Sunday.
Don't
No. I mean,
I'm out.
As we learned, the weather in Detroit going to be a factor.
Yeah, they're turning on the AC and the heater.
Hey, this was very real. So, was it the Freezer Bowl there that they had Bengals and Chargers?
Mm-hmm.
Back in old Cincinnati, there was the rumor that they used to open up the gates when on the end of the stadium where the opposing team was like trying to kick a field goal, so there'd be gusts of wind coming through.
A random tunnel of wind.
Yeah, just a wind tunnel, just kick up when the other team would go to kick the field goals and extra points to try to screw with their kicker.
I love that there's rumors like that. Like in the old Kingdom, they used to pump in crowd noise.
No, the Vikings actually did it.
They got caught doing that?
The Vikings did. I think the Falcons got caught doing that. Did the Falcons get caught doing it too more recently?
I know they got caught pumping in Future music when Russ was there.
That's not getting caught. That's just some quality trolling pregame, right? If you can throw a troll in pregame, it's good. It's a nice little,
it's funny
dig.
Yeah,
it's like future Atlanta guy. It's Atlanta versus Seattle. There's Russ and Sierra, like their little Twitter beefs that they had, which we will have Twitter beef today.
Ooh,
John Gruden versus RG3.
Jay
Gruden. Yeah, not John.
Lesser known brother. Jay.
See, that's got to be tough for Jay. He was an NFL head coach. He's an Arena Football Hall of Famer.
Congrats.
I don't know where that exists. Somebody's broom closet now?
I was going to say, I've met an Arena Football Hall of Famer.
Oh, who?
Huey Cooper.
Yeah, really memorable, I can tell.
Well,
yeah.
Hey, his kid played at Southern, so you probably know his kid.
Oh, AJ Cooper?
Yeah. Coach Coop. He's at Oregon State.
Yeah, he's coaching at Oregon State.
His dad.
I did not know he was coaching at San Diego State. Yeah.
Arena Hall of Famer.
Did not know he was an Arena Hall of Famer. All right. Let's get to these rankings of the quarterbacks, though, because I think the top three are pretty easy, right? For me, and look, it can be interchangeable, but we know who the top three are. It's Mahomes. And for me, Patrick Mahomes is number one. He's the best quarterback in the NFL right now, and he is chasing greatness. And this is going to be the really tough test, is chasing the greatness, and everybody making the comps to, Tom Brady and, saying, oh, he's already going to be the greatest of all time. You have to pump the damn brakes on that, because what Tom Brady did for 2 decades was incredible. And he had a big gap where you don't win all the time, and it doesn't come easy all the time, because as you get paid and other guys get paid, all of a sudden it becomes a hell of a lot harder to win in the NFL. And Patrick Mahomes has been working through this, and now we're seeing now that guys like Rashee Rice are starting to emerge. You have to adapt and you have to change. Tom Brady was protected by an elite defense early in his career, and then he started carrying the team. Mahomes has been carrying this team, and now you're starting to see Kansas City's building a far better defense, and he's got to start growing and developing his guys and making careers for guys like Rashee Rice, right? I mean, this is Deion Branch for Tom Brady. Remember, Deion Branch popped with Super Bowl MVP, and then all of a sudden he goes off and he goes to Seattle Seahawks, and everybody's like, what the hell's up with this guy? He's not that good.
I was convinced he was going to be a star.
Yeah, this is what elite quarterbacks do. And we're seeing Patrick Mahomes evolving in turning into that guy who, hey, I'm not just Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, and Andy Reid. I'm going to make these guys look better than they are. And it takes some time. You'll go through these lumps. But Patrick Mahomes is my number one. My number two, and this is not like a career overall. I'm taking, who would you take right now? Who are you taking right now? And on their teams. This isn't like an interchangeable, hey, if I put Patrick Mahomes with Jared Goff's roster, Patrick Mahomes is going to be better. Well, duh. He would love to have an Amon-Ra St. Brown. He would love to have Sam Laporta too. You know, he does have a pretty damn good tight end. Travis Kelce won best in the NFL. But
best ever.
Yeah. He's
conversation.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a really tough one though, to have that tight end conversation, because like
different eras.
Well, you have different eras and guys asked to do completely different things. Like Travis Kelce is elite at what he has been asked to do, right?
Right.
You know, and when you look at guys like Rob Gronkowski, Tony Gonzalez, you know, those guys, Gronk was not just a receiving tight end. Dude was nasty in the run.
He was a legit blocker.
He was a nasty in the run.
Where Travis is average at best.
Average at best, right? George Kittle, that dude's nasty. He's nasty.
Especially when he stays healthy.
Yeah, but that's a hard part to do. But I'm taking these guys for on their teams and what they're being asked to do right now. Who you taking? Mahomes is number one. Lamar Jackson is number two for me. Lamar Jackson is playing out of this world right now. He is having an MVP season right now. Patrick Mahomes is still a better quarterback than Lamar Jackson.
Agreed.
That's not to take away from what Lamar Jackson has done and the growth that we've seen out of Lamar Jackson. And the reason I have Lamar Jackson ahead of Josh Allen, who's my number three, is because Josh Allen has a propensity to turn the damn ball over a lot. Right? He played within himself and he played within the game this past week against Pittsburgh Steelers. And you saw this Buffalo Bills team really damn scary if he does that. And I love what Joe Brady has done with Josh Allen, which is pull those reins back a little bit, because that's way easier said than done for an athlete of the caliber of Josh Allen.
Right.
Josh Allen is number three. I think those three are really easy to go. All right. Those three are clearly the top three quarterbacks remaining.
I would agree with that. Yeah. Not even close.
I think the next five is really tough. I think the next five guys are really damn tough to put it in order. And is that your order of the top three? Mahomes, Lamar, Allen? Or do you switch Allen and Lamar?
No, I have Lamar. I mean, Lamar's going to be a two-time MVP winner. Yeah. He has to be above Allen. Allen hasn't won an MVP. He's had, and I bet you, I think they have had similar playoff success as well. So to me, Lamar gets the nod just because he's got the MVP. Mahomes, he's won 2 Super Bowls. I mean, some people say he's on the path to being the greatest ever. I don't know about that. He's got a ways to go still. Yeah. But, I mean, shoot, if they get all the way this year, he's in really rarefied air, right? So, yeah, Mahomes, Jackson, Allen. Easy.
Let's get to these back five, though, and I'd love to hear from you. Vancouver Ford text line 503-864-6326, or in either of the chats, YouTube or Twitch. Hit us up. This is Danny and Dusty. Right now is Big Klondike Will Ordner. He's got a Sports Center update. Mahomes, Lamar, Josh Allen. Those three guys are top three. The back five is a lot harder to parse through those five guys. But this doesn't mean that what they're doing isn't absolutely incredible. I think this is a really good round of quarterback play because even Josh Allen, who's at number 3 for me in these quarterbacks, taking care of the ball is paramount. And, you know, a lot of it will come down to who is able to do that, and not just who will guide their team, but who will make the plays to win football games for them. And this is why I sit there and I go, my 4th quarterback in this round, I've been so damn impressed with him, is CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud is a rookie, and he has not flinched a single time. A single time. His first game as a starting quarterback in the NFL was against this Baltimore Ravens team that he is going to play this week. And he did not flinch. He did not throw an interception. I think he threw for 245 yards or something like that. He has not blinked once throughout the course of the year. I think he's about 250 away from breaking Andrew Luck's rookie passing record. Think about that. What he has been able to do this year as a rookie quarterback, playing for a rookie head coach who is a defensive-minded head coach, and he's got Bobby Slowick calling plays for him. He goes in and wins a damn playoff game, wins the division. Now, take the AFC South for what it is not a great division, but Jacksonville had a fantastic year this year. They were set for a regression this year, and injuries kind of started piling up for them, including to their quarterback, Trevor Lawrence. You had the Indianapolis Colts, where injuries at the quarterback position hit them and bit them early, and it seems to be the common thread. And the Tennessee Titans were doo-doo, baby. But they end up winning that division and winning a playoff game against the number 1 defense in the NFL in the Cleveland Browns last week. I don't think that CJ Stroud goes to Baltimore and wins this game, but I have a hell of a lot of faith in him going in there. And when you go to a place where you are outmatched and you are going up against the 1 seed, you have to have a quarterback that can make plays, especially when you have a roster that is not built to have somebody else take over. They're not built to run the football and then have CJ Stroud throw it. They're not surrounding him with weapon after weapon. Devin Singletary's had a great season, especially in the back half of the year, where he's really come on strong and has been running the football well. Nico Collins, when he's at 100%, man, that guy is a special wide receiver, but they're not littered with talent like, say, Brock Purdy is, where think of what CJ Stroud has compared to what Brock Purdy has. And this is not a knock against Brock Purdy, because I've been banging the drum. Brock Purdy is not a game manager. He is not. He does not just manage a game. He controls the game. He controls flow, tempo, gets them in the right spot to where his playmakers, and they are a plenty around him, can make plays. And that's why I have Brock Purdy right after CJ Stroud in this. I think CJ Stroud is that damn good. He is going to be a star in the NFL. Brock Purdy's not going to be a star in the NFL. What Brock Purdy's going to be is a really damn successful winner. And that's all he's done, is won. And he works in conjunction with Kyle Shanahan so well. And that chemistry that you have between a play caller and a quarterback, it has got to be strong for you to be successful. And we see that with Kyle Shanahan and Brock Purdy. But I have Brock Purdy as the 5th best quarterback. After him, I go Jared Goff. Dude has gone to a Super Bowl. He gets crapped on so much.
Right.
Jared Goff gets crapped on like he is some schlub. And has he lived up to the hype of being what the number 1 overall pick should be? No, he hasn't. But very few do. Very few do.
Been better than probably over half of the number 1 overall quarterback picks.
And he was able to manage a team to get to a Super Bowl. Didn't win it. But that's better than what Baker Mayfield or Jordan Love have been able to do. And that's why I go, Baker has been playing exquisite. I mean, he really has. You look at his numbers are eye-popping. But we have what Baker Mayfield is and who Baker Mayfield is in the back of our head. Mm-hmm. And I thought with what C.J. Gardner-Johnson said earlier this week, taking the shot at Baker and saying, hey, if they had a real quarterback, then this team would be this team would be one of the best in the NFL. I thought Baker Mayfield handled that perfectly, because in what Gardner Johnson was saying, he ended up listing some wide receivers that haven't even played for them this year. And so Baker just kind of didn't defend himself, didn't take any shots. He just, in defending himself, he just said, maybe he should, put some more tape on, because he listed a receiver that hasn't even played for us this year. I think that's a great comeback from Baker. I think that's very mature. Right,
because young Baker would have been like,
scorched earth,
all Kansas Jayhawks game on him.
Yeah,
but what?
He still got his little jab in a little bit, but I thought he handled that really well. And then I got Jordan Love, who I think Jordan Love, he shut up a lot of the haters, and he's not a bad quarterback.
He's good.
He's not a bad quarterback.
He's good,
and he turned it around from about October on. And I kept saying this, look at what he's doing. Look at what he's doing in November. Look at what he's doing in December. This isn't a fluke anymore. This is a guy who the game is starting to slow down. Whether it is Dobbs to Toure, the wide receiver out of Westview, who went to Montana. You've seen Christian Watson, Romeo Dobbs, and then going to Luke Musgrave. When Luke Musgrave is healthy, he has been fantastic. But Samori Toure, he's hurt and not playing. He's on the IR. But what Jordan Love was able to do is develop over the course of a year a reliable receiving core that, to their credit, has grown too. They've grown a ton. And I love what Jordan Love has been able to do, and that chemistry that he has with Matt LaFleur. Mm-hmm. It is now, he understands what LaFleur is trying to get to, right? It's the if-then, right? If they do this, then we do this.
And how to see it pre-snap.
And that takes a long friggin' time. And it's been ugly even at the beginning of the year. But Jordan Love has put together a very special year, and the Packer fans have got to be over the moon, because it looks like they hit it for a third time in a row. They went from Favre to Rodgers to Jordan Love, and all of these guys, right? You pick up Brett Favre in a trade from the Atlanta Falcons. Sorry, Brett Favre. You get Aaron Rodgers and a guy who spiraled down in the first round. You have Aaron Rodgers, and then you go and you trade up to go get Jordan Love, a kid from Utah State that everybody's like, whoa.
Which, by the way, probably reinvigorated Rodgers to where you get the next two MVP years because of it, and then you get Love.
But if there is a guy that you look at in these 8 that you're like, he could turn into a pumpkin, it's probably Jordan Love. Because this year, he has shown that, the fairy godmother came down in about November and went bippity boppity boop, turned you into a damn princess. And Jordan Love has been playing phenomenal football ever since.
Yeah.
That's a Cinderella reference that you didn't really understand.
No, I'm well aware of Cinderella.
Yeah.
If you go out
that's
here,
all turn into a pumpkin thing, carriage.
Well, again, yes. No, I was making a face because it was like, well, why is he a princess? But then it's like, well, you know what? Jordan Love can be whatever he wants.
He can be whatever he wants. It's 2024, right?
Yeah, I don't care. It doesn't affect me. I largely agree with you, except I do think I put Goff above Purdy.
Ooh. Oh.
I might even put Goff above CJ Stroud. And here's my reasoning.
I don't hate it.
And here's my reasoning for it. Goff has proven that he can win, and that he can win in multiple systems.
Sure.
Is he the catalyst for why they win? Not necessarily. But when he won with Sean McVay, and when he won and is winning right now with Detroit, He has a good offensive coordinator, and he understands what they're looking for out of him, and he hits the open players. Does he have moments where he makes mistakes and he turns the ball over? Yes, but they are very, very limited. And to me, to show the ability that you can be a winner in multiple different systems means that you're not just a game manager, or if we want to give you that game manager label, you are the utmost version of that, because the Lions aren't winning games to spite Jared Goff. They're winning, and they've won multiple games because of Jared Goff. Yeah. Is he the sole reason? No. But he's one of the big reasons. If we look at Jared Goff and the Rams win that Super Bowl against the Patriots instead of the other way around, which that game was
13-6.
That game was close the entire way, and it was two great defensive performances from both the Rams and from New England.
For sure.
Right? We look at Jared Goff differently. We look at Jared Goff, I believe, closer to how we look at Matt Stafford. And it's all because they have the Super Bowl. If Brock Purdy, for the next, 6-7 years, continues to perform at the way that he has but doesn't win a Super Bowl, guess what comparison he starts getting? He starts getting the Jared Goff comparison, where he's a good quarterback, he's above average quarterback, but he's not going to fill any holes that you have in your team, right? Because that's the whole thing. You pay Mahomes the big money, you pay Josh Allen the big money because they fill holes, right? You pay Lamar because he fills holes. Jared Goff and Brock Purdy, they don't fill holes, but they can still win you football games. So if Brock Purdy goes on and has the same kind of career that he's having for the next 6 to 7 years, he is Jared Goff. If he wins one Super Bowl, we talk about him the way we talk about Matt Stafford.
I think that Purdy can grow into that guy, though, who's winning you games.
Right. And I personally do think that there are times where he does win them games now because he doesn't make the bad decision.
Nope. I don't hate it. 503-864-6326. Get to some of your feedback, and they did the right thing. Next on The Fan. This text says Mahomes, Allen, Lamar, Purdy, Stroud, Love, Goff, Mayfield. And if you ask me tomorrow, I'd probably have it in a different order. The final 5 are very interchangeable. Yeah, those final 5 are the tough ones, man. But it's like heading into this weekend, where do you think they are? And I think that if I look at it, I think Jordan Love he's the pumpkin. He's the guy that he's going up against the 49ers. He has to go on the road, and they are not at full strength.
He's also young, but I think there's a decent chance that both Love and Stroud don't look great this week. Why? Because they're going up against the best 2 defenses in the playoffs left still. At least that's how I feel. When I look at the Ravens, what they did to San Francisco, and then what they did to Detroit, what they did to Seattle, what they did to Miami, they've dominated. And I know a lot of those games were at home for them, but they've dominated from a defensive side of the football. And they go out and they knock people around, they beat people up. I think they could go out and confuse CJ Stroud. And then with everything that San Francisco has been able to do on defense, look, I think Jordan Love is very good.
He is.
But I think that his career now got tougher because he's got enough tape where all these teams, hey, where's he got his strengths? Where's he got his weaknesses? Can we confuse him with this look? Can we do, a rock and roll safety look where, like when Kansas City, they're playing the Dolphins, they would start in a cover 2 look, 2 high safety. They would rotate to make it look like they were adding 1 safety into the box, going into cover 1, and then they would just rotate a nice little triangle. It was a nice little triangle action, Doritos chip action, right? And it confused to when it got an interception. Can San Francisco do stuff like that to Jordan Love and confuse him? Because I just think when you're so young and you don't have that film out, it's easy to get confused. It's easy to see a look and go, oh, okay, this is what I'm going to do. And then you get tricked, and they both could look like pumpkins.
Yeah, well, the thing is that you got a really good offensive coordinator going for you, too. Yeah, and that's the thing, is that you have bright minds kind of leading you and helping you out. I think we'll get into kind of what San Francisco and Green Bay are going to do to each other on defense, which, spoiler alert, it may in the back end look pretty similar.
Right.
It'll probably look pretty similar to what they try to do to the quarterback. But I concur. I just think I'm giving Brock Purdy a lot more love right now than Jordan Love. We have in the YouTube chats, Corin goes, Lamar, Allen, Mahomes. Geez, Mahomes third. Purdy, Goff, Stroud, Love, Baker Mayfield. Damn.
Mahomes third. So I feel like they must be going just off this year.
Or might be a Raiders fan or Broncos fan.
Fan, right? But I feel like if you're going with Mahomes in third, if you're going based on just this year alone, I can get behind that. But I also don't think that is Mahomes' fault necessarily.
Yeah, I don't look at it, and I don't know.
I think that's wide receiver.
Yeah. I think that Josh Allen clearly behind Mahomes and Lamar.
I would agree with that. With his turnover ability, because he does at times look like he just mashes all the buttons in Madden. He doesn't know what play he's supposed to be doing.
He goes YOLO. It is so fun.
Either greatness happens, either horrible greatness or greatness. There's no in between, but it's great TV. It's like Jameis Winston.
It's riveting.
Throw him out there, whether it's good Jameis or bad Jameis.
Except for way more good than Jameis.
Oh, way better. Way better. I mean, shoot, he's probably going to finish top 3 in MVP voting this year.
All right, hour 1 is in the books. Hour number 2, we start with the franchise that finally did the right thing next on The Fan.
LaRock brothers are retiring. Guys,
Odyssey app, 1080thefan.com.
We're going streaming.
YouTube, Twitch, and we are still alive on the 99.5 HD2 signal. This is because we have no power at our tower. Our tower transmits our signal across this fine land that we call Portland metro area, and it's frozen. And
We
there's
don't have
no
an
power.
ivory tower. We don't.
We don't. And, I think the hamsters froze that run the generator. Generator's out, inaccessible for another hour. So for at least about an hour and a half, if we're lucky, we will have no 1080 AM signal. We're trying to get it back up in this afternoon, but it's been where our transmitter is at. Hard to get to, hard problem to fix. So
Portland, sneaky hilly. People don't know that. Sneaky hilly.
yeah, you could just look and it's not that sneaky.
It is if you don't look. If you're not paying attention.
That's a great point, Will.
If you don't look, sneaky hilly. Because I don't really think about it being that hilly, and then all of a sudden it's icy and you start driving around and you're like, oh.
Boy, there's a lot of hills.
There's a lot of hills.
Wow.
And they have eyes.
There's oh, dear Lord. Okay. The Raiders, looks like they're hiring Antonio Pierce as their head coach. Are we? Yeah, we're good with that. That's a good hire. It's a good hire. Look, anytime you fire a coach, can we do better? You have a broke owner in Mark Davis. And if you're going to go out and you're going to be paying John Gruden and Josh McDaniels not to coach your team, got to get a guy who's not going to be breaking the bank. Bill Belichick, going to break the bank. Jim Harbaugh, going to break the bank. Mike Vrabel, bank breaker. You've got to get a guy that understands who you are, what you're doing, and the players wanted Antonio Pierce. And I think that is the biggest thing, is that he got not just a reaction in a short spurt, but over a long period of time. He coached 9 games this year. And this is staggering because these numbers are, it does not happen often. In the 9 games, which is over half of a season, you can see that they were a touchdown better offensively and a touchdown better defensively. They went from giving up 24 points a game to 16 points per game when Antonio Pierce took over. That is an incredible leap. And to do that over a 9-game stretch where guys were checking out with McDaniels as the head coach through the first 8, and you're able to, they led the NFL in weeks 9 through 18 at 16 points per game. That's impressive. But then you flip it on the offensive side of the ball where Josh McDaniels, who is a good play caller, good offensive coordinator, horrible leader of men, horrible head coach, and when all of it's crashing down on him,
horrible person,
becomes a horrible play caller too. And when you got a touchdown better defensively by going from 23.6 points per game down to 16 points per game allowed. And then offensively, you go from, they still weren't good offensively, but I think they went from 15 up to 22. You got a touchdown better on both sides of the football. The players wanted him. Max Crosby said, I ain't signing an extension unless we get Antonio Pierce. You need stability there. You need to get a roster that is not as bad as their record indicated, especially with McDaniels as the head coach. Okay. This was an 8-win team that was in turmoil for half the year. They were in turmoil for half the year. Antonio Pierce smoothed the waters. He did a damn fine job. He's been a guy that people for years have been talking about, like, hey, he's got that juice. He's got that cerebral nature to be a head coach. And the players bought into everything he did. And now you look at a Raiders team, you know how many head coaches they've had in the last 20 years? CBS Sports just tweeted this out.
6.
12. If you include interim coaches, 12.
That's right, because you got Tom Cable in there, you've got Bisaccia, you've got Antonio Pierce, you've got McDaniels,
Gruden, obviously.
Yeah, forget about Gruden.
Yeah, they have gone friggin' through it. It goes Antonio Pierce, Josh McDaniels, Rich Bisaccia, John Gruden, Jack Del Rio, Tony Sperano, Dennis Allen, Hugh Jackson, Tom Cable, Lane Kiffin, Art Shell, Norv Turner in the last 20 years, and Brian Callahan.
You forget about Norv Turner.
Norval. Former Oregon Duck, Norv Turner.
He's not a very good head coach.
Another great coordinator. Great football mind. That Norv Turner is. But look, I think Antonio Pierce is that guy. Now they have to figure out, like, he can get the defensive side of the football. They must improve offensively. You cannot be as void of talent on the offensive side of the ball if you're the Las Vegas Raiders. You have Josh Jacobs. You have Devontae Adams. You went and you paid Jacoby Myers from New England, which is a bad idea, but Josh McDaniels, he'll do that. You've got to figure out your quarterback position because Aiden O'Connell ain't going to do it. Jimmy Garoppolo can't be on that roster any longer. And then you move forward from there. Bolster your offensive line, get a quarterback, and get a damn good play caller. Get a pit bull play caller. And if Antonio Pierce can do that, then I think everything kind of evens out and everything calms down. You know where I would go if I'm Antonio Pierce? I'd see what Eric Bieniemy's doing. He's went to the Commanders. Ron Rivera got fired. His name's not coming up for any of these head coaching searches anymore.
I'll still never understand that.
Bad interview.
And I guess the guys don't love him either because he can be a red ass.
You think? You almost had a damn mutiny. But if you have Bieniemy working alongside Antonio Pierce, and Antonio Pierce is setting the culture, and Bieniemy can still offensively, very bright mind, but you need to have a coach that, look, can throw his thumb on the scales and say, and I don't think Antonio Pierce is going to take that flack from anybody. And Ron Rivera, he was dancing around. He had so many other fires that he needed to put out. Eric Bieniemy at the beginning there was the least of his problems. But if I'm Antonio Pierce, I'm kicking those tires real quick because you have some tools, but you cannot be just as lethargic and uncreative as they have been offensively. So Antonio Pierce, next head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. And look, 2 head coaching hires down, both of them in-house. New England goes Gerard Mayo. Raiders go Antonio Pierce. How either one of those work out? I don't know. 2 great linebackers, though. 2 great linebackers.
Well, as long as Antonio Pierce doesn't have to recruit during COVID, I think he'll be fine.
Hey-o! Do you think he brings on Herm?
I think he should be like, let's get the band back together. He just goes and hires that entire staff, goes and hires the great Zach Hill.
He's like, hey, Herm, do you want to, we're going to send out a tweet. We're going to bring you on as defensive backs coach.
Don't press in.
Don't press in.
Well,
he has some all-time great quotes.
We're gonna roll it out there.
You play to win the game.
Yeah. Just bring Herm.
Herm, just come coach again. Remember, football's football.
Yeah. Zach Hill, former Hillsborough High School head football coach.
Former Prairie Falcon quarterback. Former Central Washington Wildcat.
There's a lot of formers in there.
Go Cats.
There's a lot of formers.
He's a very good Wildcat.
All right. Let's start diving into divisional round matchups. We've got 4 games this weekend, and the first one, gonna be a doozy, baby. Battle of Wills next on The Fan.
It's The Fan on Demand. Service Patriots
You be snowed in.
You don't know where I will be.
Yeah, you're right. I don't. Where you going to be?
I'm going to be here for Pilots game.
Yeah, okay. Texans at Ravens, 1:30 on ESPN, the first of our 4 divisional round games this weekend. Week 1 rematch where Baltimore just absolutely mopped the floor with the Houston Texans. I think 25-9 final score there. That's the game J.K. Dobbins went out with his Achilles injury. And teams are so different from week 1 to the playoffs. But the Houston Texans are like that on steroids, right? Because they had a rookie head coach in his first game of the regular season, rookie quarterback in his first game of the regular season, rookie edge rusher, Will Anderson, first game of his career as well. The growth that we have seen from all 3 of those dudes as players and a coach have been incredible to watch. But what this game comes down to is that battle of wills. Because in all playoff games, as you get further along, it does turn into your good on good, right? You don't have those mismatches. But the Ravens, they run the damn ball, right? Top rushing offense in the NFL. Going up against the 6th best rushing defense. And if you look at what the Texans do defensively, they give up 60 fewer yards per game on the ground than the Ravens average. Ravens average like 157 yards per game on the ground. 157. In the National Football League, that is insanity to run the ball that effectively and that well. Todd Monken in that offense, he has taken everything good that Greg Roman grew, and he put that miracle grow on it, man. And it is blossoming. It is incredible. And they're doing this without Mark Andrews for 2 months. And they're still finding their identity. And when your tight end goes down, like Mark Andrews isn't like a huge part of their run game. But what he does is he takes a set of eyes from a linebacker, because you have to know where he is at all times, and they're still able to run the ball that well. They're doing it also with Lamar Jackson not running the ball as much as he has in the past.
Right.
And that is in J.K. Dobbins went down in week 1. They're doing this with a stable of backs that has been limited. Right. Like, it's incredible to see what Baltimore's been doing this season with the amount of injuries that they've had.
Well, and Mitchell went down in the middle of the year. What you're seeing, though, from this Baltimore team, I feel like is what we talked about Lamar Jackson claimed he could be, and what the system he wanted around him when everyone was discussing, well, do you give him the contract extension or do you keep him on the tag? Because this was the whole thing about it. It was, well, when Lamar runs and he runs the way that Roman wanted him to, that's when they were at their best. And Lamar's like, no. I want to be able to throw the football. Get me wide receivers around me. I'm not just a running back that's playing quarterback. I am a legit quarterback, and I can make all the throws. And I don't think anyone's been more vindicated this football season than Lamar Jackson.
Absolutely.
He went out, and I have to give him credit to have the foresight to say, I know everyone says my best ability is running and that I'm most electric when I'm running. I'm going to take it back.
And he still is.
Yes, 100%. But he had the foresight to go, if I want to have a long career, I need to be able to continue to grow in the pocket. And that's exactly what he's done. And then when he runs, it's because it's needed. We talked about it yesterday. It's like Mahomes. When Mahomes chooses to run, it's the only option in that moment, and it's the best option. That's what Lamar has done this year. It's why he's healthier this season. And then his growth as a pocket passer, I feel, has opened up the run game because teams can't load the box anymore.
Absolutely.
They used to just load the box. It's like, well, whatever. If it's not a deep shot, Lamar ain't throwing it.
His ability to step up and use the pocket, because most quarterbacks, right, if you're a traditional pocket passer, they want to collapse your pocket from the middle.
Right.
When you have a runner, well, I mean, hell, you can look at most of these quarterbacks that are remaining, exception Jared Goff, probably.
He's the only one that doesn't move.
You have the way that these defenses attack is from the outside, because you have to set edges to make sure they don't get on the perimeter on you, because they'll take off and run, or they'll create and always keep their eyes downfield. And I think the other 7 quarterbacks do an incredible job of keeping your eyes downfield when you get outside of that pocket. So when Lamar Jackson adds this wrinkle to his game where, hey, I'm stepping up into the pocket, keeping my eyes downfield, there's far fewer pressures coming from the middle because you can't with Lamar Jackson, because he is going to get, and he's going to win a foot race to the edge if you do not bring pressure on the outside. And if you do not set those edges high, because he has the speed to kind of bow it around and get to the outside. This is the scary part if you're Houston. Lamar Jackson ain't got anything to lose now. He's going to start running the ball as well. And this is a really good rush defense. They are very disciplined. D'Amico Ryans, for all the criticisms that he has gotten over the course of the year for, hey, is he a good X's and O's coach? Did you see the video that they put out? Literally
explains step by step how to get the interception that turned into, I believe it was the first pick six?
Yeah, the first pick six. He's like, hey, when the receiver comes out, when he sets you up right here, you got to dive underneath him because he's going to come right back inside. Boop. Pick six against Joe Flacco. Dude has got it. And he has done a phenomenal job with this defense. Again, one of 8 teams in the NFL that averages fewer than 100 yards rushing allowed per game. And if we're being quite frank here, 2 of the teams that are ahead of them, nobody ran the ball on because they didn't have to. Chicago and New England didn't have to run the ball on. You could just throw the ball whenever you wanted, wherever you wanted against those 2 teams. So you have the battle of wills where Baltimore's going to want to run the ball to set up Zay Flowers getting loose deep. If Mark Andrews plays, nightmare. Nightmare.
The way Isaiah Likely has grown in that tight end position too.
Mm-hmm.
Even
run
if you
12, huh?
If you put in Mark Andrews with Likely, all of a sudden you almost have 2 tight ends. I can't remember a tight end group that has performed this well, and if they can get them to perform this well together since early 2010 New England Patriots.
Where they just used 2 pretty high draft picks on Aaron Hernandez and Rob Gronkowski.
Yeah.
Worked out really well.
When's the last tight end group that was built like that? Most teams, they have one good tight end and they have some average other tight ends when you have a really good tight end group. Isaiah Likely has really emerged as kind of the safety blanket when Mark Andrews is not there, who was the original safety blanket.
Yeah. And then you have the battle of wills on the other side of the ball as well, where Houston and CJ Stroud, they spin it, man. They throw the ball all over the field. And Baltimore and John Harbaugh's team, once again, doesn't matter who the coordinator is. Doesn't matter. Wink Martindale's gone. Nope. They're just going to have one of the top defenses in the league again, and they're dynamite against the pass. And you have one of the top 10 passing offense, top 10 passing defense going up against each other. And the diamond in the rough, again, that this is what the great franchises do, right? Mm-hmm. They find those guys that people have given up on, or they're just like the 6th round pick, 7th round pick, undrafted guy. Geno Stone is a damn dude in the back end for the Baltimore Ravens. His story's nuts. Have you heard about Geno Stone?
No.
So he, in the 2020 draft, COVID draft, he was the 21st safety taken in the draft. He was...
And he knows all their names.
He got waived. Yeah. He got waived by the Ravens. Guess what team picked him up? The Houston Texans. Okay?
It's a revenge game. It's a Stone revenge game.
It's a revenge of the team that avenged him. He gets revenge against them because he gets waived by the Texans. Ravens bring him back. And this is like in 2021. So he was cut twice by the Ravens, picked up by the Texans, cut by the Texans, goes back to Baltimore in 2021. And he's just been kind of like their little pet project that they've been working on, just trying to grow him week after week. Last year, he becomes a starting safety for them about midway through the year. And then this year, 7 interceptions. It took him 4 seasons for this to pay off for the Baltimore Ravens. But they got a damn dude back there, ball hawk. And CJ Stroud he's risk adverse as a quarterback. in that, like some people are like, just throws the ball away. I don't care. Don't turn the damn ball over.
Right.
CJ Stroud does not turn the ball over.
Live to fight another day.
You have the team that creates the most turnovers in the NFL in the Baltimore Ravens, 31 turnovers this year, against a team that turned the ball over, I think, if not the fewest, one of the fewest turnovers, turnover-prone teams in the NFL in the Houston Texans. Both of them, they are leaders in the NFL in turnover margin. Like these two teams, they are protect the damn ball, get it back for our offense. And that's what the key to success in the playoffs. Like, hell, look at what the Texans did to Joe Flacco. 2 pick sixes. Game over. Boom. Done. Committing no turnovers themselves. That's what wins in the playoffs. Like, it's stupid and it's simple, but that's what it takes to win in the playoffs. And that's what makes this game, for me, it's going to be more fun because it's not going to be CJ Stroud. I mean, if it is, that's a whole different storyline. But it's not going to be CJ Stroud turning the ball over a ton against this Baltimore Ravens defense, this vaunted one-seeded defense. This game is going to be a little bit tighter than that 9.5-point line. I just have that feeling. This game is going to be tighter than that 9.5-point line. Let's hear what our BetQL Network insider has to say about it. Ryan Horvat joins us next, the host of BetMGM Tonight. He joins us to get the playoff lines from the Vegas perspective. First is Will with SportsCenter.
This
Our Odyssey Sports Betting Insider, host of BetMGM tonight, Ryan Horvat, joining us now. Calls presented by BetMGM. Go check out all the latest lines today on the BetMGM app. Also, be sure to listen to BetMGM tonight for more of Ryan's analysis. Just search BetMGM wherever you find your podcast. How you doing, my man?
Doing good, man. We get a snow day here in Maryland, the Washington, D.C., DMV area, I guess, which is funny, like back home, like in Chicago or even, in Wisconsin when I lived there, nothing would be shut down unless there's 6 to 7 inches of snow. Here we get hit with 1 inch, 2 inches of snow, and everything is shut down. Nobody really knows how to handle it. Nobody knows what to do with themselves. So we get a nice little snow day. We get to work remote, so it's not too bad on a football Friday, man.
You are talking to a city right now in Portland, Oregon, that we are now on day 6 of our snowmageddon, and it has just turned to ice here. And ice is a different animal, and because when you have all the hills and trees that we have here, everything has just been shut down for a week. No schools for the week. It's just a sheet of ice. I'm sure you heard the DeAndre Ayton. What was your take on the DeAndre Ayton missing the game for a snow day? Did you see that?
Yeah. And, it's funny. That actually not really all that funny, but that happened to Trista actually as well. She couldn't get out of her neighborhood the same day because of ice, because of black ice. She's in this community report, and she was getting phone calls and text messages all day. People were getting into accidents just trying to leave the subdivision. So, I get it, man.
Yeah.
And, usually, I would laugh at it, but see, I agree. Snow doesn't really bother me. As long as you have the right automobile, you have 4-wheel drive or you're in a safe enough car or you're taking it easy, not trying to speed to get somewhere.
Or a
what
Toyota
is
Camry.
Scary. Yeah, exactly. But ice, I don't mess with ice, man, especially black ice, because that's when things could get dangerous. So I feel for you guys. Hopefully it melts soon and you're able to go about your life. But, yeah. I mean, as long as you're, stocked up on groceries, it's not all that bad, because at least we got some, football and we got NBA and college hoops.
You're good. We're good to go. All right, let's dive into this divisional round weekend, because I think we get 4 really good games. I really do. And the lines for tomorrow are really big, man. We got 9.5-point lines in the Texans and the Ravens, and then Packers and Niners. And to me, I kind of see I'll just frame it to you this way. Which one of those 2 games do you think has the better opportunity for the underdog to cover?
As crazy as it sounds, I would probably actually say the Houston Texans. And I say as crazy as that sounds because I feel like Green Bay, I keep saying, is one of the more popular bets. Everybody's taking them on the money line. Their odds are 3-1 because they just beat Dallas and the way that they looked. And I'm a Green Bay fan, but I hate this matchup. I think the biggest mismatch all weekend is going to be Kyle Shanahan against Joe Barry. And I know the Packers defense has been all right the last couple weeks, but I don't think they're going to be able to play man coverage against San Francisco, because then Brandon Ayuk's going to go nuts. If they try to play the soft zone coverage that Joe Barry loves to play, I just think George Kittle's going to have a huge game. That's why I played his receptions over 3.5, over 52.5 receiving yards. Look what Jake Ferguson did. I know a lot of that was in garbage time against Green Bay, but he had 10 receptions, over 100 yards receiving, and 3 touchdowns. Deebo Samuel should also have a huge game. They're not really great against the run. And Jordan Love's been really good, and a lot of that is because of Green Bay's offensive line, number 2 in pass protection. But San Francisco is able to get some natural pressure with guys like Nick Bosa, obviously, Chase Young. So I think San Francisco is just a total mismatch. I like the Niners. But with the Texans, man, that's one of the lower totals. It's down to 43.5. It opened at 46.5. And the reason that continues to plummet, and I'm 25, 30 minutes away from the stadium, it's going to be windy here. And C.J. Stroud was awesome that first playoff game. The only thing that scares me, now he has to go on the road, and now he has to do it against that Baltimore Ravens defense, which has been historically good this season. And they're able to get natural pressure. Same thing, C.J. Stroud, when he's under pressure, quarterback number 48, he struggles against man defense. But Cleveland plays the highest rate of man coverage, and he absolutely torched them last weekend. I think this comes down to the Texans having to be able to run the ball. They haven't really run the ball the last couple of weeks, really all season long. But if they could run the ball even 3-4 yards per carry, and it's a low-scoring game, and they're able to force a couple turnovers, maybe they could pull off the upset, at least keep this game close. So if I was going to take any dogs tomorrow, I would have to go with Houston at 9.5. I'd probably stay away from Green Bay, though. I think San Francisco might hang 40 on them.
All right, looking at the two Sunday games, I think we're going to get the two tighter games. The lines do indicate that as well, as you have Detroit 6.5-point favorites as they host the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, Detroit and Tampa, they both have there's always this wild card of which Baker and which Goff could show up. Will it be bad Baker or bad Goff? Both of these guys have been pretty damn special this year, though, and have put up great numbers. Who do you have more confidence in guiding in the playoffs? Baker on the road or Jared at home?
Yeah, I mean, they both, like you said, they both are really good. I mean, look what they did last week. And I think they're both actually going to have some success. I like the over in this game. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game, maybe the highest-scoring game of the weekend. I think you look at Tampa Bay, they like the blitz. Todd Bowles loves the blitz. And Jared Goff's been really good against the blitz, actually. He's not great when he's under pressure, but against the blitz, he's averaging 7 yards per completion. He's getting rid of the ball quickly. So I think this should be a big game for St. Brown. I think they're going to be able to score points. I thought 6.5 was too many points the way that Tampa Bay is playing. Like what nobody's talking about, since they've got everybody back healthy on the defensive side of the ball, like a healthy Vita Vea, there's a lot of guys still there from that Super Bowl run. They've been much better defensively. I know this is a rematch, kind of like that Houston-Baltimore game that was 20-9 week one. Last time we saw this game, the Detroit Lions won at 20-6, but I think Tampa's going to be able to keep this game close, actually. I think Baker's going to have some success. And I love the Mike Evans props. I took his receiving yards at 68.5. It's up to 71 right now. Ooh. He's got a great matchup in this game. It doesn't matter what defensive back they put on him on the outside. Detroit doesn't have anybody over 5'11". So I think Evans is going to have a big game, man. I think Tampa keeps it close, but I ultimately think Detroit probably wins since they're at home. But 6.5 is way too many points. I'd probably make the number 4.5.
Also, we got the fact that Chris Godwin out of the slot is really damn good, and Detroit has a horrible time covering anybody in the slot. Baker's going to put up big numbers. I agree in that one. And the final game that we kind of wrap up our divisional round weekend with is the line is the closest. Buffalo, 2.5-point favorites. You get 3 for just being at home, and they're 2.5-point favorites. Patrick Mahomes finally has to hit the road for a playoff game. How do you see this one going where Mahomes hasn't played in a hostile environment in the playoffs? Has never done it because his only games that you could consider away from Kansas City have been neutral site Super Bowl games, which are sanitized corporate events now.
Yeah, exactly. And that's crazy, right? I had to go back and I was like, what about a New England, first year when he played Brady? No, that game was actually at Arrowhead as well. If anybody could handle the road environment, the hostile territory, it's probably Patrick Mahomes. But man, I mean, the Bills have been in must-win mode now for the last month of the season, really. Yeah. I know Week 18, that game really didn't matter. It was just for the division because everything worked out for them, so it didn't really matter against Miami. But they've been in must-win now mode, and I like the way that they're trending. But if I'm going to get 3 points with Patrick Mahomes, I know it's sitting there right now at 2.5, and they keep popping threes out there, -120. If you're going to give me a full field goal with Mahomes, I have to take it. I think this game is going to come down to last possession. It'd be funny if it went down to an overtime game, came down to being an overtime game because they changed the overtime rules because of that playoff game a couple of years ago. If Buffalo doesn't get it done this year, I think there's going to be some changes. I don't know if they would actually fire Sean McDermott, but maybe they would, man, because they fired Ken Dorsey, and they don't have many more years with this current roster. Josh Allen's not going anywhere. But the defense, I mean, they're older. They're beat up. They've had so many injuries. So I like the Chiefs to cover. But, man, I really want to see it for Buffalo. I want to see it for their fans. I think it's a great fan base, a great organization. I would love to see them win it all. But, man, it's just wouldn't it make so much sense to see Mahomes win this game and then even go to the damn Super Bowl and win it? He's like the classic movie villain that you just can't kill off. They lead the league in drops. But all of a sudden now, Rashee Rice looks really good. Travis Kelce, even though he looks like he's washed, man, he's still going to have 7-8 receptions in this game, It wouldn't shock me if they were able to run the ball if they just made another run because of Steve Spagnuolo, that defense, and Andy Reid.
I've been saying this for over a month now. Kansas City, with the way their receiving core is built and the weapons that they have, when Isaiah Pacheco gets healthy, you have to run the ball with him. You have to find that has to be your identity. And it might have been the perfect thing for this Chiefs team that the weather was -30 with the wind chill because they were forced to do it. And they did it so successfully against Miami. I mean, it may actually help Kansas City out that the weather was so bad because they found that identity offensively.
Yeah. And I mean, it ended up working out because Miami looked like everybody else kind of expected them to look, I guess, in the cold weather at Arrowhead too. I thought that they were going to fare a little bit better because they were going to be able to run the ball against Kansas City. Because that's the only weakness really they have on the defensive side of the ball. Their secondary is really good. I love L'Jarius Sneed. They blitz a ton, though. They're super aggressive, so you could run on them. But Miami, for whatever reason, didn't want to do that. They wanted Tua to drop back 30-plus times. They treated him like he was Dan Marino out there. I can't wait to see what happens in this game, though. But, Buffalo, kind of the same thing, man. They have to run the ball here. This is going to have to be a big James Cook game, and Josh Allen's going to have to use his legs in this one as well because their secondary is really good. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I know that last game in the playoffs was really high-scoring, and it went to overtime. I see this I think this is going to be like 24-17. I bet the under here.
Betting the under at 45.5 is what I'm seeing that total at right now. I mean, this is we have great quarterback play. We've got great matchups across the board in divisional round weekend, man. I'm excited for it. Horvat, we really appreciate your time. Do you have any favorite plays heading into the weekend that you like that our people should know about?
Yeah, absolutely. So I do like San Francisco, but I'm gonna target them a couple different ways. I like them over 14.5 points, team total points in the first half. I love George Kittle, like I said, over 52.5 receiving yards. Green Bay not only can't just defend the middle of the field, they're also really poor tackling, the fourth worst tackling team in the league. George Kittle eats off the yak, so I like him. Mike Evans receiving yards. Mike Evans anytime touchdown, I absolutely love. And then I like the Travis Kelce receiving yards too. This is a really good matchup for him. And I'll probably end up betting the Texans. What I'm waiting for there is I want it to go to 10, maybe even 10.5, 9.5. That's not. It's kind of like a dead number. But if we get to 10, I'll probably play Houston tomorrow.
I'll tell you what. When the wind starts being like the story, right, and it's like that'll start picking up. That's when that line's going to jump again because whatever team runs the ball better is going to be the one that people are going to side with. So I think we may get it to 10 or 10.5 by tomorrow morning before this thing kicks off. Horvat, really appreciate the time, man. Thank you.
Thanks so much for having me.
There he is, Ryan Horvat, our BetQL Network sports betting insider and the host of BetMGM Tonight. Insider Calls presented by BetMGM. Go check out all the latest lines today in the BetMGM app. All right, let's dive back in. We got a worse day on the web. Boy, we knew it was bad between these two, but we're like a decade later and they're Twitter fighting. Next on The Fan.
Hello, sports fans.
We are a decade removed from these two actually being attached at the hip, but here we are. Twitter fights, they never end. Jay Gruden, former Washington Redskins head coach. That's their team name back then. Remember that?
The R words?
Yeah, that was 2 names ago for that team. This is how long it's been. 2 name changes of the franchise.
I can't believe it's been a decade.
Almost going to be a 3rd name change. Think about that. They're like, by all accounts, the Commanders are going to change their name again. Like Josh Harris is like, this is stupid. We want something new. But Jay Gruden and RG3 are Twitter fighting, which did not have that one on the bingo card.
Didn't see it coming.
During the Monday night wildcard game between the Buccaneers and the Philadelphia Eagles, Gruden tweeted out, if I ever put a quarterback what Philly's putting Jalen through, I apologize. Pick up a blitz. And when I saw that tweet, I was like, oh, damn, I wonder if he's meaning RG3. RG3 then quote tweeted it, say, what? You were, and then Gruden took the bait and said, you weren't prepared, Robert. Uh-oh. That's not good. And we get escalating from there. Griffin said, you told me you didn't know how to coach a quarterback who could throw and run like me, so it looks like you weren't prepared, Jay. Gruden said, you're right. We didn't have good enough stuff. Sorry. Hope all is well with you. Hey, that's a good way to kind of, all right, we're going to make this go away. Wrong. Because RG3 then went in on his podcast and talked about how Gruden went off on him and then, burned him in front of his teammates. And then Gruden got back on Twitter and said, you really want to play this game? And RG3 said, I'm not into playing any games. I'm retired. You have a free invite to come on the show. Oh, yeah. Pump the podcast.
That's right. Come on the pod. Let's get into a fight. We should get in a Twitter fight.
Yeah. And then Gruden said, you weren't good enough. Kirk was better. Cleveland didn't want you. Baltimore didn't either. Quit blaming me.
Hit him with the F-U.
And then Gruden goes and says, go race a pigeon, and posted the video of RG3 racing the Seahawk in Seattle.
That's such a great clapback.
I love this. I love all of this. This is fantastic.
Such a great clapback.
I love it all, but I did not have Jay Gruden RG3 fighting on Twitter.
I didn't realize it was that bad between them.
Yeah, it got salty. Well, RG3's a diva, man. And
he's corny.
Jay Gruden is a Gruden. He's a red ass.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, he is what he is. And RG3 is very much about himself. And we know that.
Wait, you mean the guy who on national TV made it a big deal that he had to run and go see his wife because she was immediately in labor at that moment? Then we found out 2 months later that her actual due date was 2 months later. And when she had her actual kid, that guy is all about himself.
Yeah. Yeah, that guy.
The more you know.
But there is something, though, about RG3, and that kind of gets lost in this, is that I don't think Jay Gruden liked Robert Griffin III, the person, right?
I don't think either one of them liked the person.
But you have to separate the person from the player, and I think Jay Gruden probably took issue with that, because now Jay Gruden probably thinks that RG3, because he is, out there as much, in the public, wanting attention, stuff like that, probably felt like he was not preparing as he needed to. Mm-hmm. I can tell you this, man. RG3 did prepare for football, and as a broadcaster, I know for a fact he does prepare, because like you hear in production meetings, he's the most active one. Like, he is asking actual questions, trying to dig in both offensively and defensively when they meet with head coaches, coordinators on both sides of the football, actually trying to, get to what the core of what they're doing beyond what he'll say on a broadcast, which a broadcast stuff is very surface level type stuff.
Right.
And there are coaches that rave about, like, hey, RG3, he does a really good job in preparing. And as a player, RG3 prepared. They just, it was so new. Like, could you imagine what they would do with RG3 now? He was really at the infancy, and people still trying to figure out what you needed to do with an athlete like him playing quarterback.
Well, he was
running the football.
Like, he was at that age, and he came in right around. I mean, I know he was a higher pick than Terrell Pryor, but when Terrell Pryor came in, it was like, how quickly can we get him to wide receiver? How quickly can we move Denard Robinson and his untied shoes to slot receiver?
That's right.
People didn't know how to deal with RG3, and there was also that belief of you can't have a running quarterback because they don't work enough on their passing ability.
And it's not, it isn't just, RG3, the running quarterback, because look, he was in college like during the blur, right? When Chip Kelly and the blur offense and the zone read was starting to be the boom. It took so long for that to trickle up to the NFL. And really, there is trickle up. Like, a lot of the stuff that we see, it starts at high school levels because you have to find the shortcut.
Right.
When
you don't have the dudes and you got to go. When you're at, I don't know, I don't want to denigrate any high school, but when you're at Hudson's Bay and you have to go take on Central Catholic, there's a talent difference.
And so you have to find the shortcuts to compete. And it is different in college where you're recruiting your guy, your style, right? And it's even more different in the NFL where everybody's got the damn dudes, right? And so there was so much reluctance in how you molded your offenses. It was so stagnant. That's why, like, we talk about, Kyle Shanahan and his coaching tree. Well, his dad, Mike, the zone read or the zone blocking scheme, people are like, this is so unique and different. It's like everybody runs it now. But they
run it in high school.
In the 90s, that's all we run. In the 90s, it was like this brand new thing, and the NFL couldn't figure it out. Wait, you don't just put a hat on the hat and go?
You don't literally point 1, 2, 3, 4, 5?
Yeah. We're not going down the line. What are we doing here? Right? The NFL is so slow to adapt because everybody is worried about their job, right? And RG3 quite literally had world-class speed. World-class speed.
I mean, he beat that pigeon.
He beat the pigeon. I mean, he was one of the best hurdlers in the nation in college. Like, he was a bona fide dude. In the 400 hurdles, he ran a 49.2 something. That is absolutely flying over hurdles for 400 meters. He was a freak athlete. He ran, and for 300 hurdles reference, in high school, he ran a 35.3 in the 300 hurdles.
Oh my God.
RG3, he was a guy that his athleticism, Jay Gruden didn't know how to coach. And he even admitted in that little Twitter spat that they had. But the fact that here we are a decade later hashing this thing out, chef's kiss. I absolutely love it. And
I love when people fight on Twitter.
Yeah. If John Gruden was able to have a computer anymore, I'd love to see him getting in fights on the internet.
I don't think any of us need to see that.
Yeah.
I think we'd learn new language.
Yeah. And this text says, wasn't Vic on the Vancouver Ford text side, wasn't Vic and McNabb in the league for like 10 years before RG3? Yeah. But they didn't know how to use them. Like Michael Vick, they tried to go, you will be a passer.
They were like, sit in the pocket and don't move. The other thing, too, is they were the outliers of their time. Because if you really want to do this, then the whole thing is, Randall Cunningham was able to move, right? Fran Tarkington. They were outliers. RG3 is the start of, no, I need a quarterback that can move because I want to use that ability. The +1 run game, when you can use a quarterback where they're running and now you get an extra blocker.
You're playing 11 on 10.
It completely changes how a defense has to stop you and has to attack you. And people didn't really start taking that concept and running with it in the NFL until right around when RG3 comes in.
Yep. And I mean, look, think of the way that teams create numbers mismatches in the run game when you have a running quarterback. You just leverage a team. You could leave 3 guys on the backside unblocked, and when you have a guy with the speed of RG3, good luck. Those guys aren't catching him.
I mean, think about it. When you have a guy with the speed of RG3, you can go empty backfield, have all of your wide receivers on the line of scrimmage, wide receivers, tight ends, running back, at any point, any of those guys can go deep. RG3 has the ability to make that throw. Or, oh, by the way, they could also run a run play where RG3 gets out in motion and starts running, right? It can be designed for him to just take it as a draw or take it to the edge, whatever he wants to do. Can you imagine as a defense trying to make sure that you had enough guys to cover everyone if they all went deep at the same time and have enough guys in the box to stop RG3?
Yep.
You just can't do it.
All right. That's our worst day on the web. It's fantastic.
Wah, wah.
Wah, wah, wah. All right. Ducks Digest has a little report out here. It'll be in
digestion.
Yes, it'll be in Will's Sports Center update. I can promise you that coming up in a few minutes from now. We'll start hour number 3, continuing breaking down the divisional round of the playoffs. We got a great one tomorrow, man. Pack Niners.
Go Pack, go.
Danny and Dusty on the Fan. Tuning into the streams right now, you're wondering what happened to the AM signal. The 1080 AM signal, by all accounts, right now is being worked on.
That is the rumor.
Okay. Hopefully we'll have it back up and running. Power went out where our transmitter side is. The ice and conditions made it so the backup power source also out. Not good. Not good this ice storm. Not good this ice storm. But we're still on YouTube, Twitch, 99.5 HD2, Odyssey app, 1080thefan.com, partying along with you.
I'm anti-ice unless it's in my drink.
Okay, yeah.
Or if you're skating on it.
There's a lot of people that are anti-ice in beverages.
What are they, communists?
Yeah, or cheap. They just want more bang for your buck.
Ice is free.
But but the soda or iced tea or whatever you're drinking is not free.
Yeah, but you don't need more soda or iced tea in your life. Trust me, you need the bare minimum.
Yeah, you don't know the cheapness of people. Knows no bounds.
I'm one of the cheaper people out there. I literally survive off of meat and cheese, and I love ice.
Large soda and a small cup of ice.
Well, it's like I had a buddy who tried to tell me, he's like, no, you don't want ice when you're at a bar and you order like a whiskey. You don't want the ice. It's like, yes, you do. It's the same pour.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't change the pour.
That is the same pour.
His idea was like, I'll say no ice and then I'll get a better pour. Not how it works, bud.
Not how it works there. Not how it works there, but at like a, I don't know, fast food place or a restaurant, they will fill the cup up.
Well, then go refill. Well, if you can refill it yourself. They are all set up for you to be able to refill it yourself.
Dude, I know. Some people, though. All right, let's continue our dive into these games that we have coming up this weekend. Divisional round action. If you missed any of our conversations earlier in the show, check it out on the Service Patriots podcast. Service Patriots, your home comfort solution for all your heating and air conditioning needs. Check out the latest offers for our listeners at servicepatriots.com/thefan. Tomorrow we get Packers-Niners, 5:15 on Fox. I'm excited for this game. I really am. I agree with Horvat in that I do believe Texans and Ravens will be a little bit tighter, and just because of strength on strength in that game. You've got a mismatch hell that any defense has to go up against with the San Francisco 49ers, but it is one of those ones where everything is amplified a little bit more. It's a little bit more. The Niners are the third best rush offense in the NFL. The Packers are 28th. And if you just look at what Dallas was able to do last week, they ran the ball at a 5.5 yard per carry clip. You know what the problem is, though? Getting down 27-0, which I do not see the San Francisco 49ers getting down 27-0. But if it's even like 14-0, you could still run the ball, run your offense, and stay within yourself. When you are scratching, clawing to get back, running the ball is a futile effort, especially down 27-0. But if you start fast and take care of the ball, the 49ers win. Just squeeze the pack out. But for Green Bay, there is advantages that they can have. I really do. Like Luke Musgrave, I loved him at Oregon State. I love him in this Green Bay offense, man. He has found a connection with Jordan Love. He is really freaking fun to watch. And then Tucker Kraft, who has been in when Musgrave is out, they got 1-2 punch, man. This is like old school pack football. You can go 12 personnel, hell, throw it in. Let's go 22. Let's put a fullback in there. Put a hand in the ground. Let's go. But where San Francisco's defense is vulnerable is actually where Green Bay has had a lot of success, especially with Aaron Jones at running back. And that is on the edges. On the edges. According to Warren Sharp, I saw him tweet this one out. 49ers allow over 5 yards per carry on runs to the edges. That is 31st out of 32 times.
That's sneaky surprising, especially because this isn't a bad defense. This isn't the Cowboys where you're bolstered by turnover luck.
They do not.
They're a good, solid D.
They do not allow. They do not allow a lot of yards in the middle because Fred Warner is incredible.
Best linebacker in the game.
I mean, he is incredible, and he feels like a missile. And they are really good against the run. as a whole, but on the edges is where they can get got because, look, they also, what's their strength? They got two incredible pass rushers on the edges who pin their ears back and go. And if you can seal an edge, you will have success. And especially teams running off the right side, there have been some problems. And Aaron Jones, if you're wondering, I went and I looked this up after seeing what Sharp threw out there. Aaron Jones averages 5.5 yards per carry on 72 touches this season when running off tackle. When running off the tackles, outside hip, or outside the tight end, 5.5 yards per carry. He is really damn good at that. But you have to be able to soften up a defense first, and that's going to come down to Jordan Love. And that's ultimately what this comes down to, is a young starting quarterback who's been absolutely phenomenal in November, December, and then when you saw what he did against the Dallas Cowboys, he was incredible. But if he turns into a pumpkin, this thing is tough. Now, you can alleviate some pressure off of Jordan Love if Aaron Jones in the running attack can get outside, but where you can open that up for your running game is if Jordan Love can get the ball to his playmakers. If Luke Musgrave and Tucker Kraft get going, if they can get Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs going on the outside, easier said than done against this San Francisco defense, which has been lights out. They're going to have a puncher's chance. But look, you have got a San Francisco team that has afforded themselves the ability to get healthy, rest guys that needed rest in week 18, had a bye week that they earned by being the number 1 seed in the NFC. Everything just tells me San Francisco is going to come out and steamroll the Green Bay Packers.
I couldn't agree more. They're one of the video bets. They're in there.
Ooh, bigwheelbets.com.
Yes, sir. When I look at this San Fran team, I also feel like there's a little bit, you've gotten to the mountaintop multiple times now with this coach. You've gotten to Super Bowls. Well, Super Bowl. You've gotten to multiple NFC championship games. You are the best team. What has derailed you every time is one overthrow by Jimmy Garoppolo and injuries. It finally feels like you have a healthy season, right? You are healthy. Barring some kind of crazy injury to CMC, to Purdy, or to Deebo Samuel, it feels like this is the year. Mm-hmm. And I feel like they're going to want to steamroll teams. San Fran doesn't play with their food. Defensively, they're going to come up with schemes that confuses Jordan Love, and they're going to let Bosa get after the quarterback. Mm-hmm. And then offensively, just let Purdy find his weapons in open space.
Yep.
They're going to dominate. They're going to blow Green Bay out of the water. And that doesn't mean that Green Bay's a bad team. And there are going to be pundits when San Fran wins this game and they win this game big that start coming out, oh, Jordan Love wasn't that good. Incorrect. Jordan Love has the makings to be a very good quarterback. He just ran into a juggernaut. Yeah. And that's what's going to happen on Saturday.
Juggernaut. I'm excited for this game, though. 5:15 tomorrow night. No idea. Like, if San Francisco jumps on Green Bay early, it could be a long night at the office for the Green Bay Packers. But you can have a chance to take a little bit of that pressure off of Jordan Love, and it's going to be running outside the tackles. And look, this is no secret. San Francisco knows it too, and they're going to dial up their pressures coming from the outside to try to stymie it. But if Jordan Love and Matt LaFleur are cooking and they're on the same page, you check that out, replace a blitzer. And we've seen so many of these receivers and tight ends in the growth that they've made over the course of the year. This is going to come on Jordan Love between the ears and how much he has grown in that regard. 503-864-6326. That is the Vancouver Ford text line. Let's head to Sunday's games. We started off in Detroit, where Baker Mayfield said something that perked my attention about Detroit. Next on The Fan.
The Fan is on in your home and where you
Playoffs. Buccaneers, Lions. It's a nooner on NBC. Got to train my brain.
Big noon kickoff?
No, that's not on the East Coast. It's noon Pacific time.
Oh, so
but it
East
is
Coast bias.
It's a big three click kickoff for East Coast folks. Yeah, that's the BS about the big noon kickoff.
The nooner.
They're trying to just throw it on like it's noon everywhere.
It's not.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
It's not how time works. Time works differently than
it's the big niner kickoff is what it is.
Also, get ready for some big niners.
Yeah. Oregon, Washington, SC, UCLA. Best get ready for it.
Get ready to wake up early, bud.
Ooh. But Bucks and Lions tomorrow. I'm excited, or on Sunday rather. I'm excited for this game too. I think this is one of the best matchups that we have. I mean, the best one is Chiefs at Bills. I think we can all, like, everybody's looking forward to that one. But this Bucks-Lions game, you have got two quarterbacks have been number one picks, much maligned over their careers. You know, people have taken dumps on both Baker Mayfield and Jared Goff at every turn, and here they are setting the NFL apart. You know, Baker Mayfield, if he goes for 303 touchdowns, that'll be his third playoff game and second in a row, by the way, which he would throw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. 3 and 4 playoff games in his first 4 playoff games. He became, just this past week on Monday, he became the first Buccaneers quarterback to go for over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. Tom Brady didn't do it. Trent Dilfer sure as hell didn't do it. Neither did Brad Johnson.
Not a lot of great quarterbacks, and the one that was great was old.
Doug Williams didn't do it because I don't think he made the playoffs in Tampa.
Did Jason Campbell do it?
Ooh, good question. People are wondering. Chris Sims? No.
People are asking the question.
Yikes. Boy, they have had some bad quarterback play. Like, if you take Tom Brady out of it, think of Tampa Bay's list of starting quarterbacks. Jameis.
Hey, hold on. No, he's one of one. Only player to ever throw 30 touchdowns and 30 interceptions in 1 year. You be nice to the great Jameis.
No, I'm good.
Standing on a corner.
They've had, let's go down the list. If you take Brady out of it,
okay,
who's their best quarterback? Steve Spurrier.
Steve Spurrier was a quarterback?
Yeah.
The old ball coach.
Randy Hedberg. No idea. Doug Williams. Jerry Goslin. Jack Thompson. Steve DeBerg. Vinny Testaverde.
Ooh.
Back to Steve Berg. Craig Erickson. Trent Dilfer. Sean King. Brad Johnson. Brian Greasy. Chris Sims. Jeff Garcia. Byron Leftwich. Josh Freeman. Josh McCown. Jameis Winston. And Baker Mayfield. And Ryan Fitzpatrick, too.
You could make the argument that Jameis might be the best because Williams...
Nah, Jeff Garcia.
Well, Williams won his title or titles in Washington, right? That's the same Doug Williams?
Yeah, same Doug Williams.
Same,
yes.
Just making sure.
Yes.
Because he's old and I don't always know old things.
That's true.
He won his titles before he got to Tampa Bay.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff Garcia, average quarterback at best.
Mm-hmm. Vinny Testaverde.
Vinny's decent.
Definitely not there. His best, like, none of these quarterbers that we're talking about, none of their best years were in Tampa.
No. Well, except for one. Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston might be the best.
And I mean, that just leads you to, if he does do this and he wins this game, you got to pay him. You've got to pay Baker Mayfield.
I think you pay him the same way you pay Jared Goff. Yep. And probably the same way that San Francisco is going to pay Purdy. Here's the thing about Baker, and people don't give him enough credit for this.
Doug Williams 1-3 in the playoffs in Tampa.
Right. But here's the thing. People don't give Baker enough credit for this. Damn. He finds ways to win, and he doesn't turn the ball over when he's doing that. Is he as electric as he could be? He's the number 1 overall pick from that draft class.
Don't do this with James.
And I understand. No. I'm talking about Baker.
Okay, Baker.
My Jameis rant will speak for itself.
Okay.
Baker was the number 1 overall pick in that draft, but he's not the best player from that draft. No. Best quarterback, right? That's Josh Allen. But at the same time, what Baker does is he can manage a game. And it becomes this negative thing, but it's the same conversation that we had with Jared Goff. It's the same conversation that we had with Brock Purdy. Mm-hmm. What Baker does is he goes into games and he doesn't turn the ball over. And when he doesn't turn the ball over, they are in a position where they can win. Is this Tampa Bay team really a Super Bowl contender? No. And it's not a Super Bowl contender, even if you put Patrick Mahomes on that team. They're not there yet. But they're a good enough team with a quarterback at the helm.
Patrick Mahomes may do it.
Maybe.
Patrick Mahomes does it.
Maybe. But
defense is almost the same as when Brady was there, and they won the Super Bowl.
But the offense isn't, because they don't have the same offensive line and they don't have the same run game. And as good as Baker is, he also doesn't equate to the first year of Tom Brady there. But what he does is he doesn't lose you ball games. And that's going to get him kept around this league.
Yep.
He's not going to get paid. He should not get paid, because Baker is not good enough to be paid to fix the holes that would be caused by him getting paid.
By the way, worst rushing attack in the NFL.
Right. But he's
worst.
But he's good enough to win you games if you pay him that $20 million mark.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's perfect for Baker. And if Baker learns that and is able to accept that, Baker's going to have a long career.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to get to start, and he's going to be on a bunch of teams like this where you go, oh yeah, they might make the playoffs.
Oh yeah.
They're a good little football team.
There's something Baker Mayfield said about Detroit, though, that stuck out to me. He said that he talked to a bunch of his former teammates with the Rams and just kind of got their thoughts on it. And they said that Detroit was the loudest place they've played. Apparently got up to like 133 decibels in Detroit for the playoff game last weekend.
Seattle and Kansas City would like a word.
Yeah. But, I mean, you talk about a cavernous dome.
Wait, it's domed?
It's yeah. Oh, by the way, it's a dome.
I was worried about the weather.
It's a dome. It's a dome. I know there are reporters that are worried about the weather.
People are asking about the weather.
A person is asking about the weather. You're right. Yeah. But it's a huge dome, and it just refracts around there. The sound does, and it's actually full of people now.
That's right. People are there.
People are actually there.
Detroit Dawn is there.
I don't know who that is, but
that's the guy who dresses up and has the cat, the lion on his head.
Oh yeah, I got that guy.
Yeah, and super fan.
I do know who that guy is.
Mm-hmm.
Tickets to get in. You can get into the Ravens game for $73. You can get into the Niners Packers game for $160. You can get into the Bills Chiefs game for $168. Wow. The lowest ticket to get into the door for Lions Bucks is $455.
Yeah, it's a franchise that has not been good.
No.
And they're good, and everyone wants to be a part of it.
No. And look, this game, the Lions are going to got if their secondary has been absolutely atrocious. They are one of the worst defensive teams defending in the slot. And you have Chris Godwin, who's one of the best receivers in the slot in the NFL. You have Mike Evans. We were talking with Horvat earlier. Tallest DB for the Lions is 5'11". Mike Evans is a pterodactyl on the outside. Big, long arms. You can go up, high point the ball. They are going to create issues in the secondary against the Detroit Lions.
He's going to get paid.
But if Aiden Hutchinson gets after Baker Mayfield, then all of a sudden it doesn't matter what you have in the back end, because put Tampa behind the sticks and they are a completely different team. You can neuter Tampa Bay if you get to Baker Mayfield.
Right.
And that is going to be of the utmost importance. And then, look, to be honest, as you go on in the playoffs, what is the health of Sam Laporta? Because Sam Laporta has been, for as good as Amon-Ra St. Brown has been, for as good as we've seen Jameson Williams and Josh Reynolds be, and Jahmyr Gibbs when out of the backfield and in the slot when they line him up, Sam Laporta has been the safety blanket for Jared Goff, and he was, his right leg.
It's the biggest knee brace I've ever seen.
He looked like RoboCop out there.
It's the biggest knee brace I've ever seen.
And they have done a phenomenal job of surrounding Jared Goff with every weapon he needs to be successful. Absolutely.
Right.
They have done it. Their offensive line is nails. When you have Decker and Sewell on the edges, good luck getting around the edge. Those two guys are phenomenal. They give up, I think, some of the fewest sacks in the NFL this year. Goff gets the ball out clean, and he does such a good job of identifying pre-snap where pressure's coming from. And Jared Goff has his flaws, no doubt about it.
Right.
But and some of it is, even when that pressure's coming, Jared Goff, like when he is pressured, not great. Makes bad decisions, but he knows where the pressure is going to be coming from at all times. Got to get the ball out quickly if you're Jared Goff. I like the Lions in this game, and I like the Lions to cover in this game, 6.5.
I like them to cover as well, but I also like the over in this game.
Yeah, points, baby. 49.5. Let's go.
Well, and here's what I got it at 48.5. And here's why I side with Horvat on this, because he said the same thing. Yes, there's no one who can really cover Mike Evans, but how often does it feel like every single game the Lions play in is one score?
Oh, yeah.
Whether it's 1 point like last week or 7 points, it just feels like this defense loves to keep teams in. If they want to keep teams in this game, it means the over's going to hit.
Over has a big chance of hitting, and look, they've blown out their fair share of teams. They have, but you had a 1-score game last week with the Rams, who were red hot and very similar to this Tampa Bay team, where they were peaking at the right time. And this is a Tampa team that's won 6 of their last 7 games. Pretty damn good. Pretty damn good. I mean, that is a nice little run to go on at the end of the year. All right, let's take a look at Kansas City and Buffalo. Game of the week. Next, here's Will.
This is a Football Friday edition
with the Chiefs visiting the Buffalo Bills. Patrick Mahomes' first postseason road game. And lots been made like, what's Patrick Mahomes going to be like on the road? I have a feeling he'll be okay.
It's only his second time wearing a white jersey, Dusty. These are the important facts that people need.
Yeah. I mean, that's we're all so concerned about what he'll look like on the road. He's going to be fine on the road, but here's where it's like going to play a factor is like they have played so many tight games, and when you're in the friendly confines and you're at Arrowhead, right? And you have that final drive against the Buffalo Bills to go down and get the field goal from Butker to force overtime where Josh Allen never got to touch the ball. Huge advantage to be at home in that situation, right? You had the Cincinnati game too. Last year? The Cincinnati game last year?
Yes, that's the span, shove him out of bounds.
That's right. Again, easier when you're at home and in that situation to have your crowd behind you. You're not in a hostile environment, and it's on your turf, quite literally, your grass, which is hard to. I mean, that grass, when it's hard and dead like that in January, it is more difficult and advantageous for you to be the home team in that situation. Now you go up to Buffalo, where it's supposed to be, again, cold, but not blizzard-like conditions, but it's going to be cold. It's going to be windy. Wind is coming off Lake Erie again. And you're in that, again, when you were in Kansas City, you know how, for your kicking game, you know where the wind is coming from. You're used to it. You're comfortable with it. It's a new stadium, new environment. So if this game is tight, like we all expect it to be, it's much less like, Patrick Mahomes and whether he can operate in it, but can everybody else? Because Mahomes is the least of my worries if that guy's going to be ready to play in Buffalo. It's not. It's your offensive line, your snap count, your receivers, which have been an absolute disaster in crunch time for you. Kadarius Toney. But you saw Rashee Rice. He emerged as the go-to guy in last week's playoff game. I don't think you're going to see another 3-drop performance from Travis Kelce. But maybe the curse of Taylor Swift does exist. Maybe that's a thing.
She's the new Drake. She is new Champagne Poppy.
Damn. No, I don't think it's good. I mean, Chiefs wouldn't even made the playoffs if that was the case. But not even a curse can overcome the AFC West just being an absolute S show.
Dumpster fire?
Yeah, that's the ticket. That's the word right there. I'm excited for this game, though, because of the fact that Buffalo's been banged up. They got a little bit healthier in the back end last week. It looks like Poyer and Hyde are finally healthy for them. But there's still, you have another injury at linebacker to Matt Milano's position. They messed with their food a little bit late in that game against Pittsburgh. Can't do it against a team like the Kansas City Chiefs. Josh Allen has got to put another performance together where he does not turn the ball over. And if he can do what Joe Brady did to him in that first game against Pittsburgh, pulling the reins back a little bit on him and slowing him down, that could be scary. Josh Allen is almost going to set a record, NFL record.
For what?
Rushing yards for a quarterback in the postseason.
Like all time or just in this playoffs? That makes sense, though. Think about it. He runs a lot more in the postseason, and his style of running, ironically, works better in Buffalo in the postseason. He's had a lot of home games.
The leader is Steve Young. In 22 playoff games, Steve Young rushed for 594 yards. Number 2 is Russell Wilson. 16 playoff games, 527 yards. Colin Kaepernick is third in 6 playoff games, ran for 507 yards. And then Josh Allen, 491 rushing yards in 9 playoff games.
No, I think his number this week is at 42.
And if he gets 42 yards, he'll be second all time in rushing yards for a quarterback in the postseason.
Why wouldn't he with that fake little slide he does now?
Stop. Don't call that fake slide.
It was a fake slide.
Tackle him.
He tricked him out. He was like, tricked you.
Hey, but this is something that Allen has got to be weary of. Officials watch game tape from the week before too. And if Josh Allen is running in the open field like that, he's not going to be getting the flag if somebody hits him. Because you shouldn't. You should not. You shouldn't get a flag for hitting Josh Allen because you don't know when he's going to go down.
Right.
He had that little hezzy step and he was gone.
Right. Here's my thing on this game, though. If Buffalo doesn't do it now, when will they do it?
They won't.
Because I understand that they're beat up and they have their issues. But this is the worst Chiefs team that they've had in Patrick Mahomes' entire time there. Now, yes, it's the best defense, but offensively, he doesn't have the playmakers he had, and it's not Travis Kelce's fault. Travis Kelce's old. And you get there and you start getting beaten up and you start getting compared to 26-year-olds who live in Vancouver, Washington. Those things happen when you get older, right?
Nobody's doing that.
And so they are doing it. But for Travis Kelce and for Patrick Mahomes in that offense, he doesn't have that go-to guy where when he's in a big pinch, he can completely trust them. Now, I think he's still going to go to Kelce. I think he's going to go to Rice, and he's building that rapport with Rice, but he doesn't have that person. This is the weakest they have been. This is probably going to be the weakest they will be.
That, to me,
Buffalo has to get it done.
Is the biggest thing in this, too, is you're looking at, can Mahomes engineer that drive and create that magic at the end of the game when he doesn't have more than one person he wholly believes in? Like, he's building that with Rice.
Right.
But does he wholly believe in him like he did, when he had Tyreek Hill and Mecole Hardman and Travis Kelce all together? And I understand who they have now on their roster, and I understand Mecole Hardman is on that team. But
different.
It is a little bit different this year because you do not have a Tyreek Hill taking the top off of the defense to open up that middle for Hardman to work and operate under. That is a big difference here. And Clyde Edwards-Helaire is really good out of the backfield for them, but oh my gosh, you got to have receivers vertically downfield. And that's where he's been the most special in those game-winning drives.
Right.
It's fun. It's a fun one, man. That's the hardest game. I don't know where to go. And it's my big dumb brain. Big dumb brain.
How am I going to vote against Patrick Mahomes?
Can't.
Unless, if it's Joe Burrow, then maybe, because Burrow's proven he can beat him. It's not Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
I think bad Josh Allen can show up at any moment.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go with Mahomes.
All right. The poop-filled Willamette River filling up even more next on The Fan.
Hello, sports fans.
ruled out. Will not play for the Baltimore Ravens. Still coming back from the fibula fracture 2 months ago. That was a gnarly injury. Yeah.
Can't wait for that take on Twitter.
Two completely different takes on that. Soft and
I just walk off that broken leg. That's not even the weight bearing muscle. I just walk it off.
Fibula is not weight bearing, bro. That
broke mine in my T-ball game. When I was 5. Just walked it off.
Dude, I fractured fibula, bro. It's nothing. Was able to play high school JV basketball on it.
It's the only reason I didn't make it to the league, babe.
Stay away from 3 waterways near Salem, and I guess Portland too. The city of Salem is warning people to avoid contact with the Willamette River, Shelton Ditch, and Pringle Creek after 46,600 gallons of sewage have overflowed into the 3 waterways.
Make sure you avoid that ditch.
That is a lot of sewage. 46,600 gallons.
How did the poop get in the river?
All right. Well, snow melting, a lot of rain.
People in Salem pooping outside?
People in their homes just pooping. No, from its treatment plant. The treatment plant
overflowed?
Yeah. Because
can we not put an awning over it?
No, okay. You don't know how this works, and I'm not surprised, and I don't blame you either. But
seems pretty simple, Dusty.
22,000 gallons went into the Willamette. That's a big ditch because 24,000 gallons of sewage went into the Shelton Ditch.
I know. I'm very confused by this ditch.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, just the size of it?
I'm confused at how big the ditch is.
It's very big.
When I think of ditches, I don't think of them being big.
Well, this one is.